friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and today I am excited to share with you a flip through of the first half of my Project Life album for 2020. So we just finished up week 26 last week. I got it in the books today and figured I would just film a flip through of the first half for you while I have it here on my desk. So let's just jump right in. On the first page here, I used the Ali Edwards January Stories by the Month kit in order to create a title page. I do my spreads as a double spread, so double spread meaning that's the whole week. So the beginning, I always do an intro page, and the end, I always do an outro page, I suppose. So for the intro this year, I used the 2020 wood veneer in order to designate that this is my 2020 album. And then I have a picture, an individual picture of each of the four of us from that very first week of the new year. And then just a tiny little bit of journaling on things I want to remember starting out the year when we get to the end. So when I look back on this, what do I want to remember from this time right here? Then we're going to go ahead and get into the weeks. So this is week one. For this one, I used the Ali Edwards January Stories by the Month kit. I like to use the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kits for the first full week of every month because they generally have a lot of cards in them that'll say the month name in it. They'll say January or some form of that, and it just works having it as that first week to designate that that is the beginning of that month. So this one, I'm guessing I either already used it or the colors weren't wrong, or weren't quite right. So I stamped it instead. So I've got January memories stamped here, and then a couple of journaling cards. This was also a stamped card. And then this week was just talking about the beginning of the year, celebrating New Year's, meeting up with some crafty friends, and then my daughter's 5th birthday party. Her birthday's actually the following week, but I did document her birthday party because it happened this particular weekend. So she had a rainbow unicorn birthday party. It was super fun. She really liked it. For the second week of the month, I used the Celebrate Story Kit. Almost all of my spreads that we flip through here are either going to be Ali Edwards or Feed Your Craft. So just heads up on that. So this one is the Ali Edwards story kit called Celebrate. Whenever I get a story kit, obviously, if you guys have followed me for any length of time, I like to tell lots and lots and lots of stories with those story kits. However, I also try to push myself to create at least one spread in my project life using that story kit. It's a really fun way to tell stories of your week because sometimes the stories don't vary that much week to week, but it gives you a new lens to tell those stories from. So for this one, the lens was Celebrate. So what were we celebrating and why? I've got a large picture of Izzy, which that's why this one was Celebrate for me, was because it was actually her birthday on that Monday. She turned 5. This one I printed off as 2 4x6. I cropped it in Photoshop to a 6x8, and then I cropped the 6x8 into 2 4x6s, printed it like that, and then took the top one, cut it in half, and put it into the pockets. So you can see that it's a big picture even though it's in these separate pockets. To do that a lot when either there's like a really awesome picture that I want to highlight, or if I need a way to take up space. So that's that. I've got a picture of my word for the year. I put a picture of an ice storm that we had because we had an ice storm, so that was fun. And then a game night. So that is that one. For week 3, I used the Watch Story Kit. That particular kit had these 3 cards that I thought were really nice as kind of a cohesive journaling element. So I've got Watching, Behold, and Observe. Again, this was a story kit, so this was another lens to tell the stories of the week from. For this week, I started my YouTube channel, so hey you all, thanks for being here. I can't even believe that it was, 6 months ago that I started this channel. That is crazy to me how time flies, and yet it seems like just yesterday. It seems like it's been a long time, but it also seems like it hasn't. So it's crazy. So this was a picture of that I put in here to signify that I started the channel this week. I also put in a movie review for Rise of Skywalker that we saw that week. And then we had this like a onesie party at my parents' house. So that was fun. And then this is one of my favorite pictures of the year too. Izzy and the neighbor boy. For week 4, I used the Allie Edwards January Stories by the Month kit. Oh yeah, see, so here is that January Memories card. So then you can see on that first one, the green didn't work. So that's why I stamped it in yellow instead. So then I just used it again here and like, who cares? I don't care if I use the same sentiments over and over again. That does not bother me. So this week we had a lot going on. Like when I look at this, it's crazy to me how much we did in a week, because right now we're still like coming out of coronavirus and we don't go into public really. So here we've got like, we went to the library and we went to a birthday party and we went bowling and then we went to the zoo. Like this was such a busy week, but you know, part of me misses that, and then part of me is also like, oh, I just want to stay home, which is kind of funny. So yeah, so that's this week. For week 5, I used the Feature Craft page turner kit. So this week we had a lot happening with books. So we had like Izzy got some books in the mail from her book order at school. We went to the library. I was reading a book from the library, and then I also had my book club that week. So it just worked out nicely to use the page turner kit for this week. I really loved the girls from that kit. That they were my favorite, the girl ephemera pieces. And then I also really liked the multicolored puffy stickers or puffy alphabet stickers. I have a few different titles throughout this spread with those. That was really fun. Week 6 was the beginning of February. It's the first full week of February. So I used the February Stories by the Month kit from Allie. So there's that February Memories card, just like the January one. This kit had some of my favorites. Like I loved this floral card, and I really loved these wood veneer hearts. This one I stamped on top of, and that looks really good. I'll have to do that again. I've got a photo collage down here from the Everyday Selfie Love Challenge that month. And then this was a milestone for me on Instagram. I like to document those throughout the year just because then I can go back and just see the growth, and that's really exciting to see growth. So this was 2,000 followers back in February, and yeah, just a bunch of stuff. We had some friends over. Yeah, we were just really busy. I went to a crafty night. It's so crazy how much we did. We're generally extremely busy people, so it's been interesting to slow down and then to not really want to go back to being busy again. For week 7, I used the February kit again, Stories by the Month kit, as well as a few from my stash. Like this was from a story kit, I'm pretty sure, I don't know which one. This I'm pretty sure was from the Give story kit. And then I also used some ephemera pieces from our Valentine's cards. So this was Valentine's Day week, and we got some cards from my parents, and so I took those cards and I cut them all apart and used them as ephemera in my week, and I love the way that turned out. They look like they were meant to go with this kit, which is super cool. For week 8, I used the digital February kit from Allie and for 2020, and we documented going to the zoo. This was the week of this was the week after Valentine's. So we went to the zoo, we went bowling, and then since Aaron and I were busy on Valentine's Day, I can't remember why, but we couldn't do anything on the actual day. So the next week we went on a brewery hopping date together and just went and toured some different breweries in like a 5 to 10 mile radius of us. We're trying to find one to become members of their mug club. We found one that we really like and that we're going to do, and then coronavirus happened, so we haven't done that yet, but we will eventually. For week 9, I used another Feature Craft kit. Give me a second. I'm going to figure out what this kit was called. Oh, I remember. It's called Treasured. So I used the Treasured Feeder Craft kit for this one. It was really retro feeling, and I loved the way that the teal and the orange and the yellows all worked together with the photos that we took this week. They just went kind of perfectly. This was book club again, so this is a card to document our book club, and I just added one of the cards from the page turner kit that just went perfectly with all of this. And then other than that, we really didn't do much this week from what I can see. This was a lazy one for us. A lot of being at home. It snowed. It looks like this was the beginning of March, and it snowed. Yeah, that seems about right. Went over to our friends for a game night and that. For the second week of March, this would have been the first full week of March, I used the March Stories by the Month kit. So here's that March one down here. It looks like I forgot to adhere some of these cards down. Usually what I do, I'll just pop this out and I can show you. When I have two 3x4 cards that I'm going to add into a 4x6 pocket, I will actually adhere them to the back of the card that they butt up to. So I would like tape them down onto this card, and then they would stay permanently that way. So let me just stick that back in. So that's what I will do with those. I just looks like I forgot to on this spread. So I used the March kit for this one. It had a lot of greens and blacks and yellows in it, which I love. So I decided to keep it at that, to just really highlight the black and white and the green and yellow, like pops of yellow on here. And I used my stamps to create a repeat stamp title or a journaling card here. So it says, remember this. And this is one of my favorite formulas to follow, to find a sentiment that I can repeat a couple of times and then add my journaling to those. It just makes everything really cohesive and I don't know, clean looking, I guess. It's one of my favorite things to do with Project Life. So we had bowling. This is the week that we found out we were going to be an aunt and uncle. So crazy that, here's what's crazy, right? So they told us that they were pregnant on the week of March 2nd to March 8th. When we flip to this next week, this is when coronavirus was discovered here in Michigan, and the state started closing down. So we actually, this is my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, we saw them for bowling on Friday of this week, and then we didn't see them again for over 3 months. Like, it was crazy. So like now she's actually really pregnant, and we missed out on so much of that. It was really sad, but I'm just glad we get to be with them again. For week 11, I used the list kit, the list story kit from Allie Edwards. This, like I said, was the week that coronavirus showed up here in Michigan. So I've got the news article about that and a map that shows the counties that it was affecting. So it wasn't quite in our county yet, but we knew it was coming. We knew it was basically already here. We were sure of it. So I started meal prepping, got ourselves like really ready to go in case somebody got sick before all of this happened. So this was like Friday. On Thursday, I took Izzy to a dentist appointment. On Tuesday, we went to vote. And earlier in the week, we were out playing with our neighbors. And then as of Friday, we were like shut inside of our house for weeks and weeks. So that was fun. Again, it's really fun to use these story kits as lenses for journaling. So using a list kit was basically listing everything out. So that was pretty cool. For week 12, I used the Feeder Craft Happy Little Moments kit. Lots of journaling on this one. There were lots of feelings this week as coronavirus is getting worse and worse and worse. It was scary. I mean, it still is scary, but it was really scary. And I was locked down at home while Aaron was still working, so that was, terrifying also, while his county, the county that he worked in, was the one that was like exploding with cases. So thank God he eventually was able to come and work from home, and our family, nobody in our family has had the coronavirus as of right now. So, grateful for that. This kit also came with the Monday through Sunday little like flags here, banners, and that was really fun too. So I almost made like a mini week in the life for this week. It was the first full week at home, so it was kind of fun. Was it the first? Yeah, the first full week at home. So it was fun to document week in the lifestyle for that one. For week 13, I used the gratitude story kit. Again, using a story kit as a lens for telling stories, for journaling, for documenting the week. And this week was awesome to use gratitude because things were scary. And it's interesting because things are still scary now, but I feel like the panic isn't quite what it was. It's not that it's not being taken seriously or that we're not taking it seriously. It's just that the panic portion of it isn't as strong now as it was then. Like, this was full-on panic of what the heck is going to happen, what's going on in the world. So it was nice to have a week to just step back and focus on gratitude and things that we could be thankful for in that moment. For week 14, I used the friendship story kit. This one was fun too because I could document some of the relationships between my kids who are now, they're now home together all the time and they weren't before. So it was, this whole lockdown at home has been really nice for fostering a relationship between the two of them. So I was able to talk about that a little bit on here, and also about, like talking to my sister and hanging out with family and friends virtually. Week 15 was Easter. So for this one, I used the April Stories by the Month kit. Did I say friendship? April Stories by the Month kit from Allie. This one, I just kind of used a hodgepodge of the cards from that kit. And this side, I really focused on the Easter ones because this was, in fact, Easter weekend. So we did an egg hunt in our backyard and the kids had a lot of fun with that. We actually did it at the same time as our neighbors, so we were still socially distancing from them, but we would play outside in our backyards at the same time so we could talk to each other, but we just weren't intermingling quite yet. So the kids all did an Easter egg hunt while we supervised and made sure that they all stayed away from each other. This was also the week when masks became like a real thing, where it was highly suggested that you wear masks. So we've got some new ones from my mom here, and Izzy and I had been painting a lot that week as well. So really fun. I also loved these wood veneer pieces. That was fun too, to use those. For week 16, I used a hodgepodge. Like, these are all from my stash. Some of them are from the play kit. Some of them are from, I think these two are the April kit of 2019. This is from March, and this was from, gosh, I don't even know when that was from. It was a Stories by the Month kit, I'm pretty sure, but I don't even remember the month. But they all had this teal color that made them go together really nicely. So I just went for it and then pulled in some pinks using like puffy stickers and chipboard, and that was fun. This was a Zoom call with the Allie Edwards creative team. That was super cool to be able to talk to a bunch of creative minds and just get some adult time, I suppose, since, we were still home and I was still there with the kids, and Aaron was now home too. I don't remember at what point he started staying home. It wasn't long after I did. So yeah, lots of fun this week. Week 17 was the April Stories by the Month kit, the digital kit from Allie. So this one, what I did, here's that repeat pattern again, or my formula that I like to follow. Excuse me. So I don't remember which one of these is the original one. It might have been this blue one. But what I did digitally is I took the colors from this title card and I used those to create, to recolor this word in different colors. And then I added my journaling to those and printed them off. So they're all the exact same color card, just different colors. And I did that digitally. So that's that. This was a really pretty kit. But this one was one of my favorites. So this is the May Stories by the Month kit, the digital one. I did the exact same thing again. So like over here, I did it with the lovely word, and on this spread, I did it with enjoying. I love the way that looks. It's so clean, and I just love it. So we've got those. I stole the colors from the rainbow in order to recolor that title. This week, I was originally going to document my week in the life. I just was worried. I think things were getting better with coronavirus, and I was worried that we were going to get outside of being shut down. before, by the time we got to the actual week. And I really wanted to document a week while we were in our home, while we were in the stay home order. So I took a bunch of pictures and then I failed to do a bunch of journaling. So I forgot like what happened except for like what I have here. But I did add flower pictures instead of a bunch of family pictures. So I have like each of us and then a bunch of flowers. And I love the way that it looks. It's really striking and pretty. So for week 19, I used the May Stories by the Month kit, the physical one. I love the May colors, you guys, like both of them. Oh gosh, they are so pretty. So this one, we've got this plus sign pattern, which I love, with the teal and the yellow and the pink. It's just my favorite. I took Jonah to his well visit this week and he totally forgot what a car was, which was funny. So he that was his face the whole time he was in the car. I had my book club, so we had a virtual book club. And then this was the week of Mother's Day. So I've got, a picture of Izzy giving me a Mother's Day card, and that was pretty much it, hanging out in the backyard. And this is when we just started letting our kids hang out together between Izzy and our neighbor. So that's pretty cool. For week 20, I used the You story kit from Allie, in addition to the I Am Simple Stories kit, which I have had sitting around for a long time, and the Sarah kit from Felicity Jane, which also I've had for a while. Those three kits, the colors go so well together. It's really, really pretty. But in addition to that, this week was, in fact, Week in the Life. So what you see on here are all pictures and zero journaling, which for me is not normal. I journal a lot. I am a writer. I'm a bit long-winded, and that's okay. But this week I decided to not journal at all in here and to save it all for my Week in the Life album. So instead what I did is I picked a couple of my favorite pictures and I blew them up in order to take up space. And then I just added a couple other of my favorite pictures from the week into this spread and called that done. Embellished it, called it done. Week 21, I used the Art of Noticing stamp to create my own journaling cards. So my title card, I used the stamps that are, you guys, if you know what that's called, let me know, when they are like a solid stamp and they've got a word etched into them. I don't know what that's called. I want to say like refrigerator tiles, but I don't know, that could be wrong. So anyway, I used those, all the words, to create a brick pattern background. I added a stamp to some sticker paper, punched it out and added it on there with the week and the dates. Then I took another stamp from the set, this one that says Looking Closer at Life, and it has a place to add the dates. I printed off 7 of those and added them to pictures all around the perimeter. And then I also created my own repeat journaling card. So there's that pattern again, with 2 of the stamp sets. And then I added my type. Actually, I printed it with the type first and then stamped it on later. So that was that. For week 22, I used up the remaining pieces I had for my March Stories by the Month kit. It worked out because I had a lot of greens happening in this spread, so the green cards worked for me. So I took some of them and altered them in order to have them be white instead of the beigey color that they were originally. I just like the white space better than beige. And then I used my May Stories by the Month stamp set from the current 2020 in order to create my own title card and a few extra journaling cards. So that's that. This week, again, we're just at home. There's just a bunch of at home happening. We did get in the car to go. This is the week we went over to my parents' house. We went to my parents' house. We didn't even get a picture, but we got a picture in the car going. And this was the first time we were in the car as a family in 3 months. So that was cool. Also, we had we call him our pet spider, Toby, but Toby showed up this week, or at least we saw him for the first time this week, and snapped a picture of him. And he comes back every night and builds his awesome web. And he's pretty cool. So he's Toby the spider. For week 23, this was the first full week of June, and normally I would have used my Allie Edwards Story by the Month kit to document this week. However, there were some other really big things happening, as you can see. So what I decided to do was to do it in halves. So the first half of the week, I talked all about the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests and the marches against police brutality. So that was the first half here. The cards came from Azari Jarrett. I'll link her down below in case you guys haven't seen these before. I also had a card from In a Creative Bubble here, and then I just found some images from the web to add in here that clearly signified a lot of the things happening. So that was the first half. The second half, I talked about seeing our family for the first time on my husband's side. So we went to his dad's house and we got to see his dad and his mom and his siblings. We saw Alex and Caitlin for the first time with, they're pregnant. So yeah, so we're at the end of June. We went from the middle of March to the end of June without ever seeing them. And that was it was crazy. It was so crazy. For week 24, this is where I did end up using the June Stories by the Month kit, and I love this one. My absolute favorite color is orange, and I love yellow and orange together, and I love yellow and orange and hot pink together. So this kit is like the best. So I used up a bunch of those cards on here. It also came with these wood veneer suns that I used just in a couple different places to add some embellishment. And then pretty much everything has some, all of the photos have some chipboard pieces, and yeah, it's just super fun. I love the colors. It makes me think of summer. For week 25, I used a ColorCast Designs acrylic piece, actually 2 sets, to create my spread. The first was a Monday through Sunday rainbow week, and I used those as my journal card, story sparks, right? So then I did just a little bit of journaling for each of the days. So again, like another mini week in the life type of deal. I don't have a picture from all of the days. I just did journaling from all of the days. And then I talked about some stuff at home, and then a trip that I went on with my mom and my sister, and going to see my father-in-law for Father's Day. For the title piece, I used the Summer Vibes acrylic that was also from ColorCast Designs. So that is that. For the last week that I will be sharing with you guys today, this is week 26. And this one I decided to use the Progress Story Kit. So this one came out a couple months back. But I've had it in the wings to use on a Project Life spread, but I hadn't yet. So the reason that it worked out for this one was because we are halfway through the process of Aaron and his brother brewing beer. So 2 weeks ago they brewed it. So they did like the wort and all the stuff, and they had it fermenting. So it was done fermenting, and they were able to bottle it. So they bottled it this week. I guess at this point, this is last week. And now it has to sit for 2 more weeks in order for the sugars and to carbonate and all that stuff. So next week we'll be able to try it for the first time. Super excited for that. And then I have made a bunch of progress on our backyard. Our yard is like so overwhelming. We have so many plants, and it kills me. It stresses me out so much. But I took a couple days and I turned a bunch of giant bushes into trees. So I was really proud of myself. I made some progress on our yard, and that felt really good. Other than that, we just have a couple of pictures from the week, hanging out with our family for Father's Day, going on a walk with the kids, and then the kids turning their water table into a mud table, and, that was really fun. But they had fun, so that's what matters. All right, you guys, that is it. That is the first half of Project Life for 2020. Super fun to look back through all of this and just see how much life has changed in such a short amount of time. Like, it has not been that long. It's only been 26 weeks into 2020. Like, we're halfway through, but we're also only halfway through. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I hope that gave you some ideas on things to document and some different ways to keep your stories fresh and that sort of thing. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments down below, and I will be happy to answer any of that. And yeah, so I think that's going to be it. I feel like I have talked a lot and my throat is dry and I need to like drink some water. So I am going to go ahead and sign off of here. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty videos. I will be back soon with more videos for you, more process videos and whatnot. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.